Two people just received $10 million. Same amount, same day, same bank account balance. Person A is a lottery winner from Ohio. They bought a ticket at a gas station, checked the numbers on their phone, and screamed so loud their neighbors called the cops. They quit their job the next day, bought a mansion, and told everyone they know about their windfall. Person B inherited $10 million from a grandparent who built a successful business over 40 years. They got a call from a lawyer, sat through some paperwork, and quietly deposited the money. They kept their job, moved to a slightly nicer apartment, and told almost no one. 5 years later, person A is broke, not less rich, actually broke. They've filed for bankruptcy, lost the mansion, and are back to working a job they hate, except now they're in more debt than before they won. Person B has $18 million. Same starting amount, completely opposite outcomes. And here's the thing, this isn't a coincidence. This is a pattern that plays out over and over and over again. And the reason why is way more interesting than you think.
My name is Nick, and I spend way too much time thinking about why people with sudden wealth tend to destroy their lives, while people with gradual wealth tend to build empires. If you're someone who's ever thought, if I just had more money, all my problems would be solved, or you've fantasized about winning the lottery, or you've wondered why rich people's kids seem to stay rich even when they're idiots, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Because what I'm about to show you isn't just about lottery winners and inheritance. It's about the fundamental difference between having money and understanding money, and why that difference determines whether wealth destroys you or builds generational security. So let's start with the lottery winners, because their stories are absolutely wild. According to the National Endowment for Financial Education, approximately 70% of people who suddenly receive a large sum of money, lottery winners, injury settlements, inheritances from distant relatives they barely knew, lose it all within a few years. 70%, that's not a small percentage of unlucky people. That's the majority. That's the default outcome. And the stories are horrifying. There's Abraham Shakespeare, who won $30 million in Florida in 2006. He was murdered by someone trying to steal what was left of his money in 2009. There's Jack Whitaker, who won $315 million in West Virginia in 2002. Within 4 years, he'd been robbed multiple times, sued by multiple people, and his granddaughter died of a drug overdose that he partially blamed on the sudden wealth. He said winning the lottery was the worst thing that ever happened to him. There's Evelyn Adams, who won the New Jersey lottery twice in 1985 and 1986 for a total of $5.4 million. She gambled and gave most of it away. Last anyone checked, she was living in a trailer park. Now, you might be thinking, Nick, these are just bad people who made bad decisions. Not everyone would blow $10 million. Here's what most people don't realize. It's not about being bad with money. It's about not having a framework for understanding what money actually is and how it works. Let me explain what happens psychologically when someone wins the lottery. First, there's what's called the hot hand fallacy. You won the lottery, which means you're lucky. And if you're lucky with lottery tickets, maybe you're lucky with other things too. Gambling, risky investments, trusting people who approach you with opportunities. Second, there's lifestyle inflation on steroids. Most lottery winners come from working class or middle class backgrounds. They've spent their entire lives thinking, if I just had X dollars, I could afford Y. Now they suddenly have X dollars times 1,000. Every single want they've ever suppressed is now possible. The mansion, the cars, the jewelry, the helping every friend and family member who asks. Third, and this is the big one, they have no experience managing large sums of money. None. Zero. If you've never had more than $5,000 in your bank account and suddenly you have $10 million, you have no mental models for what to do with it. You don't understand tax implications. You don't understand investment vehicles. You don't understand how quickly money disappears when you're spending $50,000 a month. Let me give you the actual math on how fast lottery money disappears. Let's say you win $10 million. First, taxes. The IRS takes about 37% for federal taxes, and most states take another 5 to 8%. So immediately, your $10 million becomes about $5.5 to $6 million. Now you buy a mansion for $2 million. Sounds reasonable, right? You've still got $3.5 to $4 million left. But here's what most people don't calculate. That mansion comes with property taxes of about $30,000 to $50,000 per year. Maintenance and utilities run another $50,000 plus per year. You're now spending $95,000 to $115,000 per year just to own the house. Then you buy 3 cars, a luxury SUV, a sports car, and a truck for a combined $300,000. Depreciation, insurance, and maintenance on those run about $40,000 per year. You help out family. Your sister needs $50,000 for a down payment on a house. Your parents need $100,000 to pay off their mortgage and medical bills. Your cousin has a business opportunity and needs $75,000. That's $225,000 gone, and now you've set a precedent that you're the family bank. You quit your job, so you have no income. You're now living off the lump sum. At $200,000 plus in fixed costs for houses and cars, plus living expenses, travel, entertainment, and ongoing family requests, you're burning through $400,000 to $600,000 per year. Your $3.5 to $4 million is gone in 6 to 8 years, and that's if nothing goes wrong. No lawsuits, no bad investments, no divorces, no addictions. This is the lottery winner pattern. Sudden wealth, no framework for managing it, lifestyle inflation, social pressure, and within a decade, broke.
Now let's talk about inheritors, because their path is completely different. And look, I'm not saying all inheritors are smart with money. There are absolutely trust fund kids who blow through family fortunes. But statistically, people who inherit wealth are far more likely to preserve and grow it than lottery winners are. Why? Because they grew up watching how the money was made and managed. If your grandparent built a $10 million business over 40 years, you didn't just inherit $10 million. You inherited a financial education by osmosis. You saw how they lived. You heard conversations about investments, taxes, business decisions. Even if you weren't paying close attention, you absorbed patterns. A network of professionals. The family already has accountants, lawyers, financial advisors. When you inherit, these people are already in place and they're incentivized to help you preserve the wealth because that's how they keep their fees. Social expectations and examples. Your peer group is other people from wealth. You're not trying to impress them with a mansion because they already have mansions. The status game is different. It's about discretion, about smart investments, about legacy. Gradual exposure. Many inheritors receive wealth in stages, trust fund distributions at 25, 30, 35, or after certain milestones. They're not getting $10 million all at once at age 22. They're getting smaller amounts over time, which allows them to learn. A money mindset. This is the big one. They understand that money isn't just about buying things. It's about security, about optionality, about building systems that generate more money. Here's a concrete example. When a lottery winner gets $10 million, they think, what can I buy with this? When an inheritor gets $10 million, they think, how do I make sure this becomes $20 million? Look, there's a study from Williams Group Wealth Consultancy that found 70% of wealthy families lose their wealth by the second generation and 90% lose it by the third. So inheritors aren't guaranteed success. But the first-generation inheritors, the ones who inherit directly from the wealth creator, have a massive advantage over lottery winners because they have context. They know, even if just subconsciously, that wealth requires management. Lottery winners think wealth is a destination. Inheritors know it's a process. So here's where it gets really interesting, because the difference between lottery winners and successful inheritors isn't really about the money. It's about 3 fundamental psychological differences. Difference number 1, scarcity versus abundance mindset. Lottery winners come from scarcity. They've spent years, maybe decades, thinking, I can't afford that.
Their entire relationship with money is about lack. So when they suddenly have abundance, they overcompensate. They buy everything they've ever wanted all at once because they're terrified the money will disappear. And ironically, that behavior is exactly what makes the money disappear. Inheritors, especially ones who grew up wealthy, operate from abundance. They've never experienced true financial scarcity. Money has always been there, so they don't have the same desperate need to spend it all immediately to prove they have it. Difference number 2, consumption versus production. Lottery winners see money as something to spend. They won money, so now they can buy things. The mental model is money to consumption. Inheritors see money as something to deploy. They inherited assets, so now they can invest in more assets. The mental model is money to optional consumption. This is huge. If you see money as purely for consumption, it has a 100% depletion rate. Every dollar you spend is gone forever. But if you see money as a tool for production, for generating more money, then you can spend the returns while preserving the principal. Difference number 3, identity. This is the one nobody talks about, but it's maybe the most important. When you win the lottery, you become the lottery winner. Your entire identity shifts. Everyone knows you have money. Everyone treats you differently. You lose privacy, you lose normalcy, and you gain a target on your back. According to research by psychologists who study sudden wealth syndrome, lottery winners report that the worst part isn't managing the money, it's managing the social fallout. Friends ask for loans, family members feel entitled to help, strangers approach with sob stories. You can't trust anyone's motives anymore. And here's the psychological trap. To maintain your identity as wealthy, you have to look wealthy. You have to prove to everyone, yes, you really are rich. So you buy the mansion, the cars, the jewelry, you pick up every check at dinner. You can't say no to family because then you're selfish despite being rich. Inheritors don't have this problem, or at least not as severely. Their wealth isn't public news. They can choose who knows and who doesn't. Their identity isn't, I'm rich because I got lucky. It's, I'm a member of a family that built something. And that identity comes with different expectations. The family expectation isn't spend it and enjoy it. It's preserve it and pass it on.
There's actually a term for what lottery winners experience: sudden wealth syndrome. It's not an official medical diagnosis, but financial psychologists use it to describe the anxiety, guilt, social isolation, and identity confusion that comes with rapidly acquired wealth. Here's what most people don't realize. Having money doesn't solve your problems. It just changes which problems you have. Before winning the lottery, your problems are, how do I pay rent? Can I afford this medical bill? Should I take this second job? After winning the lottery, your problems are, can I trust anyone? How do I say no to my family without destroying relationships? Did this person become my friend because of who I am or because of my money? Am I going to get sued? Am I going to get robbed? And you don't have any framework for dealing with these new problems because you've never dealt with them before. Inheritors, especially multi-generational wealth inheritors, have seen these problems before. They watched their parents navigate them. They have templates for how to handle family requests, family foundations, structured giving, clear boundaries. They have templates for privacy, trusts, LLCs, discretion. They have templates for relationships, careful vetting, keeping wealth private from new friends. Lottery winners are improvising. Inheritors are following a playbook. Now you might be thinking, okay, Nick, so lottery winners are doomed and inheritors have it easy. What's the point of this? The point is this. The skills that inheritors have can be learned. The mindset that protects and grows wealth isn't genetic, it's cultural and educational. And if you understand what that mindset is, you can adopt it regardless of how you acquire money. So let's talk about what the inheritor mindset actually looks like in practice, because this applies whether you're inheriting $10 million or building wealth from $10,000. Principle number 1, money is a tool, not a scorecard. Wealthy families don't measure success by how much they spend. They measure it by how much they preserve and grow. The question isn't, what can I afford? The question is, what's the highest and best use of this capital?
If you come into money through lottery, inheritance, business sale, whatever, your first move isn't consumption, it's protection. You build the infrastructure first, legal entities, trusts, tax strategies, diversified investments. Then, and only then, do you think about lifestyle. Principle number 2, surround yourself with expertise you trust. Lottery winners often hire financial advisors after they've already made major financial decisions. Inheritors have advisors before the wealth even transfers. If you suddenly have significant money, your immediate move should be assembling a team, a fee-only financial planner, not someone who earns commissions, a tax attorney, an estate planning attorney, and possibly a therapist who specializes in sudden wealth. And you pay them well to be on your side, not on commission where they're incentivized to churn your money. Principle number 3, keep your wealth private. This is maybe the most important lesson from lottery winners' experiences. Do not tell people you have money. When Jack Whitaker won $315 million, he was public about it because, well, lottery winners are public by default. He was immediately bombarded with requests, scams, lawsuits, and threats. He said he received 25,000 pieces of mail asking for money. Inheritors keep quiet. They drive normal cars. They live in nice but not ostentatious houses. They don't flash wealth. If you come into money, tell as few people as possible. The people who need to know, your spouse, your financial team, should know. Everyone else doesn't need to know. Principle number 4, live on the interest, never the principal. This is the fundamental rule of preserving wealth. If you have $5 million after taxes and you invest it conservatively to earn 4% per year, that's $200,000 in annual returns. You can live very comfortably on $200,000 per year while never touching the $5 million. But if you start spending the principal, buying the $2 million house, the cars, helping family, suddenly you're down to $2.5 million, which only generates $100,000 per year, and now your lifestyle costs more than your investment returns, so you have to keep dipping into principal, and within years, it's gone. Wealthy families understand this intuitively. The money isn't there to spend, it's there to generate income, which you can spend. Principle number 5, time delay all major decisions. Financial therapists who work with sudden wealth clients recommend a 1-year rule. Don't make any major financial decisions for at least 1 year after receiving the money. Don't buy the mansion, don't quit your job, don't invest in your friend's business, don't give large sums to family. Put the money in safe, liquid investments, money market funds, short-term treasury bonds, and just wait. Let yourself adjust to the new reality. Get your financial team in place. Then, after a year, start making strategic decisions with clear eyes. Lottery winners make all their major decisions in the first 6 months when the emotional high is at its peak and judgment is at its worst.
Here's the thing about lottery winners going broke and inheritors staying rich. It's not really about the lottery or the inheritance. It's about whether you have a framework for understanding money before you get it. If your framework is money solves problems and spending money proves I'm successful, then sudden wealth will destroy you. Because you'll spend to solve problems that spending doesn't solve, and you'll spend to prove success until the money runs out. But if your framework is money is a tool for building systems that generate more money, and real wealth is measured by optionality and security, not consumption, then sudden wealth can change your family's trajectory for generations. And here's what most people don't realize. You don't need to wait for an inheritance or lottery win to adopt the inheritor mindset. If you're building wealth from $0, you can choose right now to think like an inheritor instead of like a lottery winner. That means investing before consuming, building assets that generate income, keeping your wealth private, measuring success by net worth growth, not lifestyle, surrounding yourself with people who think long-term, saying no to consumption that depletes your capital. The lottery winner asks, "What can I buy with this?" The inheritor asks, "How do I turn this into more?" That's the only question that matters. Look, most people will never win the lottery,
Most people will never inherit $10 million, but every single person watching this video will, at some point, come into money that feels significant relative to what they're used to. A bonus, a tax refund, an inheritance from a relative, the sale of a house, a business exit. And in that moment, you'll have a choice. Think like a lottery winner or think like an inheritor. The lottery winner brain says, "Finally, I can afford that thing I've always wanted." The inheritor brain says, "How do I deploy this to generate more resources?" The difference between those two responses is the difference between temporary relief and permanent security. So here's what I want you to do. Stop fantasizing about winning the lottery. It's a statistically terrible bet, and even if you win, you'll probably ruin your life. Instead, start thinking like an inheritor right now. Build the framework. Learn how money actually works. Surround yourself with people who think long-term. Practice delayed gratification. Invest in assets, not liabilities. Because the only difference between a lottery winner who goes broke and an inheritor who builds an empire is the mindset they bring to the money. And that mindset, you can choose it today. If this video changed how you think about wealth, hit that like button, subscribe for more content on the psychology and strategy of building real, lasting money, and drop a comment. Would you rather win the lottery or inherit a business? Honestly. I'm Nick, and I'll see you in the next one.